Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome, welcome. Hello, good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. It's Friday and we're live. Welcome. Hello, Team India. Where are you guys all joining from? And also, can you hear me okay? We need to double check that you can hear me and see me clearly. We have an exciting live today for you. I'm so excited to be hosting Miss Sharina Balaratnam, and we're live from the UK. Welcome, everyone. Hello, Miss Sharina.
Good evening, Matt. How are you?
How are you?
I'm fabulous. All the better for seeing you, Matt.
I'm so excited for our live today. Let me adjust my camera a little bit.
Me too.
Welcome, welcome. We have an incredible live scheduled today, and I first and foremost want to introduce Miss Sharina Balaratnam coming live from the UK, and just say hello to all of our followers tuning in. Thank you everyone for joining. We are going to be discussing today the top performing products in Miss Sharina's practice. And this is interesting because Miss Sharina is in the UK, so it's a very different temperature and climate than we're used to here in California, which is really important when we're talking about the fundamentals of skincare. But Miss Sharina, I would love for you to take a moment to introduce yourself and say hello.
Thank you very much, Matt, and a very good evening to you from actually a very sunny and springtime England, Matt.
Wow.
We're having a beautiful day out here, I have to say. You know, I'm thinking winter is now finished and we're looking forward to the spring. Perfect for March.
I love it. Well, I want to take a moment to also have you explain the word Miss and why you are called in your title Miss Sharina Balaratnam versus Doctor. I think this is really interesting for our community to kind of understand.
Sure, absolutely, Matt. Well, you know, to everyone out there, you know, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are, Matt, and to all of the team at S-Thetics. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you so much for inviting me to be an opportunity to share with you some of the tips and tricks and our best products that we use every single day. Great question, Matt, between Miss and Doctor, and I guess you could say I'm both. Because when we go to medical school and we graduate, at the end of it, Matt, we become doctors. And after I graduated, I'd always had a tremendous interest in skin. And following a short stint in the A&E department where I was stitching heads and, you know, stapling things in the middle of the night, I know not what you want to hear, but I was even more interested in the reconstructive side of things. And so I decided to pursue a surgical career. So the long and short of it is I became a plastic and reconstructive surgeon. That was my background. And when you sit for your exams to specialize in surgery, you pass those and you go from doctor to Ms. So here in the UK, surgeons are referred to as Miss. And if you're a gentleman, you go from a doctor to a Mister. I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. And all the power to you, because I faint when I get my blood taken. And that's a very personal thing that I'm sharing with everyone, but it's true. So I could never do what you do.
Well, that's why it's good to have diversity, right? I can't do what you do, so this is perfect.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. For anyone joining just now, we'll talk about some housekeeping and kind of what we're doing today. We have Miss Sharina Balaratnam live from the UK. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. Every live, we try to do something different, a different topic for you all, and we kind of base it around the questions that you submit to us throughout the year. We're really excited to talk about Miss Sharina's top performing products in her practice. I'm going to play the role of the consumer, if you will, and ask all the questions. So if you have any questions about skincare or anything you want to know about his clinical products from Miss Sharina, please put them in the chat box below. There's also the questions box that you can submit your question to that we'll look at the end of the live. I wanted to start off talking about something really interesting, and this really has to do with the core of his clinical, and it's about the fundamentals of skincare. So, Ms. Sharina, would you please kind of talk us through the fundamentals of skincare that cleanse, treat, hydrate, and protect?
Thank you, Matt. And yes, absolutely. To give a bit of substance behind what my answer is going to say, I always want to talk about our core principles at the clinic, which is based here in Buckinghamshire in the United Kingdom. And I want to talk about how that reflects to the choice of me selecting your brand first and foremost. Because one of the things that I was looking for is something that was going to treat everybody and whole family, for example, but I also wanted something that was going to be very clear from an instruction from my training and education, because in order for me to understand something, if I get it, then I'll be able to articulate that to our patients. So it all has to start with it within. So when I learned about the brand and I got its key unique ingredients, what everything actually could do to benefit a patient, and don't forget, Matt, when I first opened the clinic, we had no patients, zero. So, we went from 4 products. That's what I brought in, my 4 hero products. And then we went on to 8. And I can honestly say I've got all 28 pretty much in front of me here because I do have these at home. Okay, so when I talk about top performing products, I have to say they're all top performing. So then when I thought about how am I going to educate our patients, because one of the key things that we have to do in our practices is all about patient education. If patients don't understand what they need as opposed to what they want, it's very hard to then have a conversation about how they're going to achieve their results. So when I was learning about the brand and really taking it all in, the cleanse, treat, hydrate, protect way of articulating that made so much sense to me. And I always believe in the bookends when it comes to skincare. So you have to clean your skin and you have to protect it. So that made complete sense to me. You then also have to treat it with active ingredients that are actually going to make and deliver positive changes in the skin. For me, it wasn't enough to actually have a nice topical that was going to, feel nice and, be nice to use. I mean, your brand does all of that, but it has to actually create cellular changes that I can see, I can feel, track, measure, and celebrate. So we have imaging in the clinic. We have 3 different types, and we can actually see cellular changes underneath the skin with the treatment formulations. And here in England, guess what? It's super dry. It's pretty much super dry all the time. And in England, when we get our 3 months of big hits of summer, we're outside for too much, so we get super dry as a result of that too. So you need a hydrator, otherwise known as a moisturizer. So that's where number 3 comes in. So the cleanse, treat, hydrate, protect phenomenal just made complete sense to me. I hope that makes sense to everybody too.
Absolutely. Hi, Vlada. I see you commenting. Vlada is a model I used to work with. I wonder if she's tuning in from, if she's home in Russia or in New York City. But hi, Vlada. I miss you dearly. Don't forget any of your questions. Please submit them in the chat. I'll be taking notes throughout the live so we can make sure to try to answer as many questions as we can. But talking about cleanse, treat, hydrate, protect, shall we start with cleanse, Ms. Sharina?
Absolutely, Matt. And your question also was all about the topic of today, which is about top performing products at the clinic. And I have to say, my top performing products have evolved over the years. I have some core favorites, which I call the spine of the clinic. And in terms of the evolution, I have to say, at this present time where we have been pretty much closed, Matt, for the last 2 months, we've had to change some of our top performing products so that we're able to deliver continuous results that our patients are going to benefit from during this lockdown period. So I just want to also mention to everybody out there that skincare played a really big opportunity for me, not just now, but at lockdown number 1, to be able to do something positive to patients. And I was able to think, okay, how am I going to deliver these positive results during a lockdown period because our patients couldn't come to me? I focus on my mission at the clinic is all about treatment blending. Coming from a plastics background, I want to create functional, aesthetic, transformative results and results that patients can really see. So when they were at home and they didn't have access to my injectables, they didn't have access to my energy-based devices. I don't operate anymore, Matt. That was 10 years ago in my old career. Everything now that I do is non-invasive medicine, with skincare really being the holy grail at the core of everything. So without my injectables, without my energy-based devices, without my microneedling, without my lasers, without my anything, when the doors went shut, we couldn't do anything. And really, the only thing that I could do is continue to escalate their results at home. So that was in the first lockdown, and we had some key active formulations then. And then lo and behold, we got back to it again, and the key products evolved again. But here we are now. So I want to go back to the cleanse because I still get a lot of patients. And, you know, when you Google beauty, when you Google skincare, it's not like it was 10, 15 years ago where you probably had a couple of key select brands and ingredients. Now it's a minefield, isn't it? It's an absolute minefield. And what I really love about the brand is that it was easy for me to understand. There were some great clinical data behind each and every end formulation. And that's very, very rare, because when I thought about the ingredients, and I look around here because I've got the lines in front of me, we know that vitamin C works. We also know that retinol works. We know that copper works. We know that all these things work. But when you put them together in the sandpit, do they play well together? That we don't know. And when Dr. DeHaven and your team were able to give me, you know, results, clinical evidence behind each one, that makes a lot of difference to me as a practitioner. So I'm going to start with number one, because your cleansing complex has remained the holy grail at the practice. I know you were waiting for that, which is my favorite. You know, role play. You'll never get a straight answer out of me, Matt.
I love it, though.
I love it too much. But, you know, your cleansing complex has been my ingredient. I use it every single day, morning and night, from start to finish, even through the lockdown, because for me, it's simple. It's a 3-in-1 universal cleanser. It's a cleanser, it's a toner, it's a makeup remover, all in one. What I would say is, you know, it may not get all of this away. I might need your cream cleanser for that one. However, you know, it doesn't strip the skin. And that's really important, because I do find nowadays when patients come to see me, especially if they've, you know, been dabbling in a little bit too much here and there, they tend to come very overstimulated, hyper-inflamed, and they've just been too aggressive with their skin. So it's a great opportunity to just say, look, we can be results driven, we can be assertive in our approach, but we don't need to be aggressive. You know, we'll get there in the end. So this cleanser allows me to do that. So I love the cleansing complex. You know, our patients love it, my team love it. And I tell you what, when it's bubble wrapped in Centella and you use it with a little bit of water, for me, I would describe it like a silky foam. It's just divine.
I love it exactly for all of those reasons. And one of the most important things you said is that 3-in-1 capability of cleansing complex. It's really your one-stop shop for all of your needs. And it's gentle yet effective, which is so important. You know, we're talking about really the health of the skin. That is really a part of the fundamentals of what we want to do, is maintain that skin health. So I can only imagine what you see of kind of stripping that barrier when people don't know what to use before they come, of course, to see you.
Absolutely.
All right. Do you want to talk about any more cleansers?
Well, I want to talk a bit more about cleansing complex, because with the glycolic and salicylic acid that's within that, I find that that really helps not just the grown-ups, but it also helps their kids too. So just the other day, Simon was speaking to one of my team members, who was speaking to one of her patients, and she said, well, I love the ingredients and I've been using it for 5 days, and you tend to see results and feel them in about 5 days. She said, what about my kids? My teenage kids are breaking out, they've got hormonal change, and kids generally don't wash their faces very much, you know. So, you know, just put them under the cleansing complex. And every single one of my nephews and nieces, Misha is watching me now, you know, they're all on cleansing complex, and, you know, they've just got beautiful skin, Matt.
Wow. And hello to the S-Thetics crew. I know you guys are all tuning in the house. So hello to your entire team. You have the most incredible team. And I really can't wait till we can travel again so I can see you guys all in person again soon. All right. We do have a question. Someone experienced a bit of redness with cleansing complex, and I think this is maybe a really good opportunity to talk about how I say it is a little goes a long way.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Ms. Sharina, and how you really need very minimal of our products to really even still get that efficacy?
It's very important. I think if you have a great quality product, not even a good quality, great quality product, well, firstly, from economics, you want it to last a long time. You want it to go a long way. But I find personally, when you use too much, it doesn't feel very nice anyway, because it doesn't lather up as well. It tends to be a bit more jelly. So 20p size, how much would that relate to in your country, Matt? Help.
Oh, about a dime size.
Okay, so a dime size, that's more than enough because it's the quality of the ingredient. And I always say, take your time, slow down, everybody. We're in a too fast, too furious world right now. Slow it right down and get that glycolic steadily on the skin. Spend some time with that salicylic acid in that T-zone, because this is where we get a little bit more greasy as we age. And also when we go through menopausal changes, we are going to get a little bit more sebaceous and open pored in that area. I take it everywhere, face, chest, neck, décolletage. You know, we're here in winter and all of a sudden we're going from roll necks to all the way down. And, you know, it's time to start cleansing that skin. And, you know, sometimes I actually say to patients, use it at the back of the arms as well and start brushing off all that extra keratosis pilaris in the skin, just to prep the skin before summertime comes here in Blighty. So a little bit really does go a long way if you're using something as exquisite as this.
Absolutely. And I love that tip too for the back of the arms. For anyone, you know, there's such a high percentage of population in general with experiencing KP, keratosis pilaris. And I actually had it, and it really helped tremendously just by using the cleansing complex.
You know, it's 15 minutes in and we're still on cleansing complex, Matt.
I know. Should we do a treat?
Let's do a treat. I could talk about this all day, cleansing complex. Well, look, when it comes to treat, our hero has to be ProHeal Serum. And I love vitamin C. I believe in antioxidants for the skin. There we go. Everybody needs antioxidants for the skin because we're surrounded by our natural aging process, and we're also surrounded by environmental aggressors. So we're surrounded by UVB, which are those bright, bouncy blue rays that we see in the sky on a beautiful day like this. They bounce off your skin and they can give you a burn. But we also have, in England here, we have UVA rays all around us all the time. So they are those dull gray rays that come through everything, the clouds, the glass, the clothes, and they go way down under the skin, and they actually cause a lot of change. They cause pigmentary change, they cause cellular change to the DNA of the skin, because they cause something called free radical stress. So you need to counterbalance that, and that's where your antioxidants, your green tea, you know, things that you eat and drink. But now we can actually take that topical and we can actually put it on the skin. What I particularly found very interesting about ProHeal was when I looked at your clinical results, and you could see like the ORAC score, which is the free radical score, was significantly higher in ProHeal compared to a lot of other competitive products. No disrespect to any other product, because I've used a lot of them in my time and I love them too. But when oh, here he goes. This is the live demo.
Listen, I'm standing underneath the windows, and now you're scaring me with all this talk. So I'm like, I gotta get this on.
Well, you look like you're about 21 now, so it's working. You look fantastic.
I have a little secret called is clinical.
I love it. Me too. But, you know, ProHeal does so many things because it's not just a vitamin C. So I needed a vitamin C. It's a 15% vitamin C, and that's a great concentration to have. But it's also what I call a slow release, time release. So you don't just put it there and it disappears, because you need to make it last throughout the day. So I was comforted by the fact that you're going to get something that's going to penetrate. You've also got ingredients there which are very low molecular weight in nature. That's really important, because when you prepare the skin with the cleansing complex, you know that your formulation is going to go a little bit deeper. But what I really love about ProHeal was we have a lot of patients with red, hot, inflamed skin, just due to lifestyle. Right now, more than ever, you know, we have patients with stress levels of, 11 out of 10, and just high performance because of work, high performance, just because it's a lot going on. It's been a whole year of in and outs. Everyone's homeschooling, everyone's stressed, and rosacea. We get a lot of rosacea as well. So I find that this really has, benefits. Its olive leaf extract can really counter effect the redness, the sensitivity. And again, what I was really blown away by, I'm looking down here because I have mine too, okay? So there you go, everybody. You're probably wondering why I'm looking down, and this is my ProHeal, because I didn't realize when I bought my Visia into my practice 5 years ago, when I took my Visia, I had a bit of redness because I come from Malaysia and I loved the sun back then. So that's actually helped my own redness. And the interesting thing when I looked at my pictures was my pigment went down as well. So, the beauty about this, it's also got brightening agents within it. So it's lightening, it's tightening my skin because vitamin C is generating new collagen within it. So it's really it's like a powerhouse of everything. You know, we call it like, I call my clinic a fortress, and, you know, I have my skin ninjas in there, which are my whole team. They're absolute skin ninjas. And, you know, so that's my vitamin C fortress, really.
I love that. And you know, it's so important talking about even just this one treatment product that we've been talking about, ProHeal. But someone like you in your practice, you offer so many incredible treatments. But then
Yes.
when we talk about, you know, just antioxidants in general and really kind of investing in protecting those treatments. So if you're going to see your skincare professional and having these incredible treatments, to also kind of invest in your skincare as well and having those antioxidants and those regenerative properties to help protect that investment. Kind of like, we always kind of like to joke around and say the 401k for your skin.
Right. Okay.
ProHeal would be a good 401k for the skin.
ProHeal is awesome. And, you know, I have to say the power of a detailed consultation, Matt, because I would have patients coming to me saying, okay, I just got exactly the same regimen that, you know, so-and-so has come to your clinic and taken. And yeah, I'm getting really dry with it, and I'm getting this and I'm getting that. And it's because they've not really had a detailed consultation, an assessment, a lifestyle history background, all of those things. And it could be that he or she would have benefited from super serum. So when you were talking about, you know, some of the regenerative therapies that we have in the practice, my top performing ingredient for that, when I'm done with the reparative of the ProHeal serum, when I'm done with that, I then switch on to super serum, because where I am preparing the skin for one of my trigger treatments, he's got it all.
I've got the whole works in front of
Got the
me.
whole thing. Where what I love skin preparation, and anyone who comes to see me will know that, you know, you cannot have a treatment like a laser without being prepared. So minimum of 6 weeks skin preparation, where we just flip the skin around and just reset it and prepare it for that trigger. I then move into something like super serum, because again, you've got that 15% time release vitamin C, but you've got this copper tripeptide growth factor, and you need growth factors where you want to really drive neocollagenesis forwards. You need that kind of copper tripeptide where you want to see changes with acne scars and stretch marks and all of those kind of treatments. And so you want to feed the collagen that's been prepared and stimulated, and you want to feed it into the future. So I see that as future proofing the skin, and then we evolve shortly after that into the youth range. So it's funny when you say top performing products at my clinic, and I'm sure everyone out there expected there to be, hey, that's my niece over there, Misha. Say
Oh,
hi to
hello, Misha. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. I love that.
And she loves the range, you know, and just whilst Misha is there, you know, I love to gift everybody. So top performing products during this time as well is gifting. You know, during this time, people are in lockdown and everybody wants a little bit of love. So, you know, we spend a lot of time gifting our patients, because that for me is a top performing thing that you can do during this time when people are feeling just a little bit yuck, you know. So, you know, we love this, which is a gorgeous gifting treatment. This is just mine. And I have like severe dry lips all the time, Matt. I live in England. I come from Malaysia, and I love the fact that, you know, for me, this is a treatment, because I see it like my treatment, because you've got, you know, you've got your sucrose, which is gently exfoliating all the dead skin away. And then you've got your cocoa butter and all those things to prepare and just look after the dead skin. You know, cigarette smoking, alcohol, all of those things can dry us out. And then finally, it's also got vitamin C. It's very unusual to have products with vitamin C in them that can actually work with the color of the skin, because when I carry out the Visia, you can actually see pigment changes in the border of the lip. So it's really important to have an ingredient that can do that. And finally, the lip elixir is just absolutely divine. So yeah, that's a really nice gifting tip. Sorry, I got carried away.
No, it's somebody asked what was it? It's the lip duo that features
The
the
lip
lip
duo.
polish and the youth lip elixir. But you're totally right. It is a true at-home treatment for the
Yeah,
lips. And I think it's one thing that we always tend to forget is treating the lip area. And
always.
you know, it's such a unique, it's very different than the rest of the skin, of course, compared to all of the rest on your face, and really a more delicate area, just like we would kind of treat the eye area differently. So
Yes.
I'm really happy you brought those up. And also, Ms. Sharina, thank you so much for talking about the differences of ProHeal and Super Serum, because I think that this is probably, our team would agree, one of our number one questions that we get, especially on social media, if someone's kind of differentiating between the two and what are the differences. So I think that was really, really helpful. And we've covered a lot of maybe daytime treatments, but should we talk about a hero nighttime treatment, active serum?
Oh gosh, that is like my girl for all seasons, really. So, active serum just does everything. When I first used active serum, in fact, that was probably one of the first things I ever used. And I'm sorry, but being a surgeon and coming from the NHS, here in England, I need data, I need evidence, and I needed to see and feel the results before I brought anything in. But I tell you what, that active serum really drove a fast result in 5 days. You've got the exfoliation, you've got the brightening, you've got the lightening, you've got the tingliness of it. So you have the experiential feeling of something actually removing extra dead skin layers and getting under the skin. And I felt like it was a treatment and a preparation all in one. And not that I have problem skin, but wow, it really changed my skin very, very quickly. So in terms of an immediate and long-term benefit, the longer that I use that, the better the skin quality is. It's fantastic for my acne patients who are oily, who are greasy, who have got blackheads, and they benefit so much from that. So I would actually name my active serum like a powerhouse again. Interesting though, Matt, I find though, because I have a lot of patients with dry, compromised, dehydrated skin in the winter, if they've never used active before, and a lot of my patients are over 65, 70, I find that when they start active serum in the winter, they may find it a little bit too tingly. Maybe they weren't anticipating that, and maybe their skin is too dry and compromised. So I love polyvitamin serum. So that is my current hero for the winter period for some new patients. When I want a fast result and I want to bring them in quick, I actually put them straight on polyvitamin serum because it's got that 40% hyaluronic acid. It is also going to repair the cellular integrity. It's going to be, I don't mean to say a little bit nicer than active because I love her, but polyvitamin serum is just a little bit more kind for bringing somebody into this nice world.
I love adding the personalities onto the product.
Meaning?
And polyvitamin, I'm so happy you brought up polyvitamin because I truly feel like it's like an unsung hero. And it's interesting to hear the attributes of it and why you choose to use it, especially during this kind of time of the year for you in the UK. That's really, really, really interesting.
And I think that's the point. I think it comes with time and experience, and you have to try certain things with different skins. And that's the beauty about being a human being. Every skin is so different. And we love what we do and do what we love because we get to really experiment and try different things on people and see what can be done. One big treatment at this time has to be Shield. Again, with the dry lips, I get really dry hands, Matt. And we have a lot of patients now absolutely just doing a lot of hand washing during this time, and really just getting a lot of cracked hands and cracked everything. And this has been really good to bubble wrap the hands with and really protect the skin during this time. I love also Shield for the maskne problems, that hot, red, inflamed skin, irritated skin, becoming very dry and compromised due to wearing the mask for too long. So, I call this like my 21st century plaster. I love what it actually does to cuts and bruises and burns. And we use a lot of this whilst we're talking about my regenerative therapies. We use a lot of this also post-procedure. So it's really important for me to treat our patients and prep them pre-procedure, but also intra-procedure immediately after a microneedling or fractionated treatment when you need to, look after that treated skin and just look after it and nurture it. And then after that, we can flip it into the next ingredient. But patients love it, their kids love it, everybody loves it.
Go to. Throw it in your bag, in your purse, especially it's kind of like that, another one-stop shop that you can use as liberally as you want throughout the day for any kind of dry, irritated skin. Absolutely love this Shield. This is my secret weapon when I go snowboarding or being from Canada in those cold winter months. I always have this in my winter jacket just in case if I need it.
Wow, gosh. So, people love that. And it's interesting, we're talking about kids, we have a lot of patients now who are having Zoom babies. a lot of patients are having Zoom babies, and they're either new patients or they're existing patients. And I love this range because one of the key differentiators is that I'm now able to offer a full range of skincare to tackle everything from pigment correction to acne, rosacea, all of that, because this is all pregnancy and breastfeeding safe.
Thank you.
It's ideal.
Thank you very much. I was actually going to say, before we move into hydrate, to maybe talk a little bit more about the line being pregnancy and breastfeeding safe, because we've had quite a few questions come in on it. And again, another extremely important topic and one of our most commonly asked questions. Absolutely.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, it's really important to be able to manage and help somebody who is pregnancy and breastfeeding. And in the past, it was always like, look, I can't do anything for you. I'm so sorry. We're going to have to stop all your skincare. And you feel so sad, that they can't have everything. So now one of my heroes during pregnancy, because we get the mask of pregnancy, we can get intra-pregnancy melasma, we can get pigmentary changes. So I have to say, my Zoom boom patients who are booming and blooming, a lot of them are on I beg your pardon, white lightning complex and serum. So it's interesting you say top performing products. Right now it's white lightning complex and serum for my mamas.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Now, okay, maybe I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to ask to move to hydrate, because I really want to talk about Hydrocool Serum, because this is my favorite, and I would love to hear why you use Hydrocool and why you use it in your practice.
It works. You want something really lightweight in someone who doesn't need so much moisture, who is internally nicely hydrated. You just want to give them enough, because I call these water scavengers. They're hunting for fluid in your skin. So where you have someone who's got a really nice restored skin barrier, there really isn't anything too much with them. They've got a bit of freckling, but you can really benefit from some juiciness of the skin. I love this because it actually makes the skin juicy. So, drink more water, it will penetrate through, but it also will refresh the pigment changes, because it's very unusual to have hyaluronic acid serums with brightening agents within it as well. So I love the fact that these are all multitasking, and it feels really nice and tingly on the skin. What I find with Hydrocool is I personally love it. A lot of patients love it, but then all of a sudden we get into winter and you're seeing a new patient, much more mature patient, or that rosacea compromised patient. And that's when I will flip and evolve into reparative. I love reparative moisture emulsion. You've got everything, Matt.
I wish I could turn my camera down to what's in front of me.
Will you give me a behind the scenes photo shoot later?
Absolutely. There's a ring light situation. It's a lot.
and I have to say, with makeup as well, girls love makeup, and Simon from my team has just given us a top tip down here. Hydrocool is brilliant mixed with foundation. Thank you, Simon. It really is. And Matt, you know your audience, and you know your makeup artists, etc. They love mixing it with the makeup, and it makes the skin really juicy and dewy and luminous and all of that. So it's just a beautiful formulation. And I love Reparative because it really looks after the skin because of the extremozyme technology that's built within it as well. And it's packed full of 40% hyaluronic acid, which patients just adore. It's got this silky primer-like finish, and it just feels very different. So for a compromised skin, I may not want too much zinginess that comes with Hydrocool, and that's where I find Reparative works really beautifully.
I love that tip from your team too. And these Hydrocool Serum and Reparative Moisture Emulsion, working with Hollywood and all of our celebrity makeup artists, these are definitely, I would say, our two most popular items to go into their makeup kits, because they're incredible for prepping the skin before makeup application and really having that kind of bouncy, juicy glow, if you will. I'm going to use that juiciness with Hydrocool Serum. All right. Should we talk about any more hydrate products you want to talk about before we move into Protect?
Well, I'm actually going to move into Protect, because Protect is a great hydrator. And personally for me, when I'm in the summertime or I'm on a beach holiday and I don't really want to use and need to use too much, I just carry around my Extreme Protect SPF 30 with me all the time, because it's a 4-in-1. It does everything you need to. There we go. Matt's got it. And, I come from a plastic and reconstructive background where I've treated a lot of skin cancers in the past. So for me, EP30 is a compulsory. If I have a patient that says to me, okay, I'll take everything else, but does an SPF really work? And I'll say, well, if you don't take this, I won't be very happy with you. So it's a compulsory. But it also has technology, and I want to talk about technology within topicals because I never found that. So we have technology in the clinic and energy-based devices, but now you have tech within the skincare. And when you have this technology that's based on extremophilic enzymes that can really look after skin that's been exposed to very extreme conditions, this is how I look at it. Here in England, where we're used to these harsh weather conditions, you've got these enzymes and proteins that are built into this moisturizer, SPF, antioxidant, hydrator, 4-in-1. They can really look after the skin even in the harshest of winters and even in the harshest of summers as well. So I love the fact that our patients use it in the morning. I've been making them use it in the evening for the last 6 years, and you see a really speedy recovery of the skin. So if I'm going for an absolute minimal, Matt, and Dr. DeHaven taught me this many, many years ago, just go for your cleansing complex and go for your EP30 because that is your 4-in-1 to a T.
It really is. And I love that you mentioned that because it's so important, especially for someone that's a minimalist. They don't want to use so many products throughout the day. Extreme Protect SPF 30 is truly, again, another one-stop shop. You're getting those antioxidants, you're getting those hydrating factors. You're not only, of course, getting that protect, but I'm so happy you brought that up because when people think of EP30 as just an SPF, it is so much more than that. So I think that's really helpful too for our consumers that tune in on our Instagram lives is to really know kind of what am I getting in that SPF? Not only the importance of protecting the skin, but keeping it hydrated as well.
And you see a lot of change, Matt. And one thing I see is the runners. So if you think of where a runner's running, they tend to take their SPF and they'll put it on their face. Maybe they'll get to there and they're off. And in about 10 to 15 years' time, they turn around. And if you look at the back of the neck ain't looking very good. So I always say to my patients, when you're doing everything, face, chest, neck, back of the hands, back of the neck, really important.
You mentioned that a lot, and it is something I think about probably daily because I always, when I apply my sunscreen, of course, every day, just when I think I'm done, I'm like, oh yes, I have to think, because it's a little bit scary when you think what could be happening back there if you're not protecting it.
It won't happen. It won't happen. But speaking about protect, one of the other things that I see a lot of now with the Zoom Boom Mat is fatigue face and fatigue eyes. And I want to quickly talk about Zoom Boom eyes because we're doing a lot more screen time. The eyes are used to blinking about 15 to 20 times a minute, 1,200 times an hour, 20,000 times a day. So you can imagine periorbital aging happens really, really quickly. And it's happening a lot faster now, Matt. I see it in our patients in this particular time in Zoom telecommunication medicine. And so what I find now, where I used to use a product like Youth Eye Complex, and I'd love to talk about that, I'm actually blending a lot more with CI Advanced Plus together with Youth Eye. So the two of them together have been making so much difference in the last few months. So, piece of advice out there, I think, the combination therapy of those two have been absolutely priceless during this time.
I love layering the CI serum first and Youth Eye Complex because you're getting that brightening capability with the vitamin C really formulated specifically for the skin of the eye area, and then following kind of that juiciness, if you will, with Youth Eye Complex to really hydrate on top of it. I love layering the two of them. I actually did that this morning, so I'm happy we're talking about it now. Somebody from Canada, I think it's Lumi Laser. Lumi Laser is a big partner of ours, so thank you for always tuning in. They wanted to talk about Eclipse briefly.
Sure. Yes.
I love Eclipse.
You love Eclipse. So I love Eclipse. I would use Eclipse for our patients who are particularly greasy, particularly acneic, where they need something lightweight that's just going to give them enough. By no means am I calling Extreme Protect greasy at all. I don't personally find it, and 95% of our patients don't. But I find Eclipse a little bit more easy for the very oily, very greasy, very acneic patient. And it's super lightweight, and it just does a beautiful finish. It's not chalky, it's not white, it's not thick. So that is a hot favorite among that population of patient. What would you say, Matt?
The exact same thing. It's kind of like that. The EP30 is a bit more of that dewy, hydrated finish,
Yeah,
and that Eclipse is going to give you a bit more of a velvety, smooth, a little bit more of a matte finish. But you're still getting a little bit of hydration with Eclipse with that vitamin E involved in the formulation. So this is like Eclipse is my go-to if I know I'm really going to be out in the sun. If I'm going to the
yeah,
beach or if I'm going for a hike, I'll always reach for my
absolutely.
Eclipse.
And I will tend to say to my skiers, so this is another seasonal hot favorite, you know, when you're going into your winter ski or your winter sun or everything, we have a lot of patients who travel. So we have all the sun protections in clinic. And at the end of the day, we don't like wearing makeup so much and we're wearing much less of it now. So, you know, you have the tints within it as well, which are just beautiful. So it's lovely to have tints within it. And in answer to the question from the person who asked, what if it's too matte? This is something Catherine and I will have at our desk every day. So Catherine, if you're out there, I know you've got one of these. And, you know, if anyone's feeling matte out there, then please just spritz a little bit of this on because it's got your copper tripeptide, it's got your hyaluronic acid. And I have to say, I love copper mist for my acne patients whilst we're on that topic because it's great for sebum regulation. It's great for oil regulation. It's got resveratrol in it. So it's actually a brilliant anti-inflammatory for my rosacea patients as well. And it smells divine. It's packed full of hyaluronic acid, and you can just spritz it before you come on something like this, and you know your skin will look juicy.
I love copper firming, and that I love to apply copper firming before kind of putting on my serums to have that kind of application ease to help kind of spread it out evenly. And this is, and talking about makeup artists and kind of, you know, Hollywood, we're so grateful to work with so many incredible makeup artists. This is another go-to for their kit to help not only help set makeup, which is a really interesting kind of fun fact about copper firming mist, but also to refresh the skin throughout the day. This, actually, a little kind of VIP secret, is a very popular product on movie sets. A lot of the makeup artists that we work with that are filming on productions, especially if they're filming outdoors, they love to have this in their bag at all times. Great refresher for the day.
But again, you're right. At home savior, in clinic savior. So I have these dotted all over my practice so that, you know, when I'm done at the end of the day and I'm about to go out, well, actually, I don't go out anymore, Matt. So, you know, I just have these everywhere.
I know. I'm like, someone's always like, what's your plans for the weekend? I'm like, I don't really know. I'm not sure.
No, well, I tell you what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm going to keep exfoliating my skin because one of the main ingredients, I have to say, during the lockdown period, this last 2 months and going back the first lockdown, we couldn't get to our patients. They couldn't get to us. So how did we adapt? How did we become more agile? We've spoken in the first lockdown to about 600 patients, Matt, at least. This time we've spoken to at least 850. Telemedicine, virtual Zooms. My 5 team members have done it. I've done it. There's so much we can do, and we deliver a really hyper-personalized regimen to all of our patients. But I tell you what, the main thing that's really done well to make patients feel amazing is your at-home facials.
This
Feel amazing.
is a big game changer, especially when, you know, lockdown started. I really, you know, it's hard to believe we've been in this for almost a year now.
That's right.
We really wanted to bring together some at-home treatments, those at-home facial protocols, really especially for our partners, so that when our consumers in the end couldn't be able to go to see their skincare professionals in person, to be able to have their advice through, you know, Zoom or FaceTime or a virtual consultation, it's so important. And no matter where anyone is in the world, you still have access to your skincare professionals, whether it's through a virtual platform, to even just do something as base foundation as a consultation, which is so incredibly important. We always try to stress that as much as we can. You know, we come on these lives a lot on behalf of the brand, myself included, but at the end of the day, it's always best to speak to your skincare professional. And one of the reasons why we have Miss Sharina on today.
Thank you. Very kind, Matt.
Thank you very much. All right, we've got maybe room for a couple of more questions. I'm going to lean in here and go into the questions box. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is a great question. I hope that she's still tuning in. We've got, can active serum be used as a spot treatment for blemishes?
Oh, that's a great question. My answer would be you can use it as a spot treatment for a spot, or you can use it as a spot treatment, but why stop there? Why don't you use it for the full face? So it would be my same answer like with laser treatments. If you're going to have a laser treatment to revitalize the skin, I never just stop there. I tend to just say, look, treat the greater good. So, but yes, in answer to your question, you could, but don't stop there. Spread the love.
Spread the love. Okay, let me pop into the questions box. I love this feature because it gives us the time to go in at the end. Can we apply? Okay, this is a good one. Let's bring this one up. Can we apply Hydrocool and ProHeal together after cleansing the skin?
I would say depending on the type of skin you're treating, if you have a very severely compromised skin, I probably wouldn't use them both together. I'd probably combine ProHeal with a reparative moisture emulsion. I think it might be a little bit kinder on the skin. However, I love Hydrocool and ProHeal together in the patients who have got a really nice, robust skin barrier, who can manage it. I've used it myself and I love the feeling of them both. I think they complement each other really, really nicely. And where you have your ProHeal and you combine it with your Extreme Protect 30, I always believe that vitamin C combined with a great sun protection gives you that ultimate photo protection of the skin. So I always say you need them both together. You have to have the blended approach.
Absolutely. Gabby asked a question. What does it mean when you say products are non-systemic?
So non-systemic means that it doesn't penetrate, for example, the blood-brain barrier or the fecal barrier. So it doesn't penetrate into the bloodstream is what you're trying to say. So these stay within the superficial layers of the skin and they really get to the target. And really what you're trying to get to is the epidermal layer, the dermal layer, and you want to remain in the skin. So it doesn't penetrate into the blood system and it doesn't go to the rest of the body.
Great tip. Okay. I love this question. I don't know if we've been asked this before, but I think this is the perfect way to end our live session. And apologies because there's so many comments coming through, I can't see their handle anymore. But they asked, what would each of our desert island products be? We can only choose 3 and we're abandoned on a desert island. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay, well, so on a desert island, I wouldn't have access to water. So, although I would love to take my cleansing complex, I would need to go for cream cleanser because that would be the only way I'd be able to clean my skin because you don't need water with your cream cleanser to clean your skin. So that's a little top tip for those of you who are about to get stranded on a desert island. To be fair, I'd be very happy stranded on a desert island right now. So I'll take my cream cleanser with me. I would take my Extreme Protect SPF with me because I wouldn't want to accelerate in my aging whilst I'm stranded there. And then the next thing I'd probably take with me is, I would actually take my Youth Body Serum on holiday with me, to be honest with you. This is my latest fave at the moment. And I'm really enjoying using it right now. It's perfect for my dehydrated skin. It's also got my extremozyme technology. So, it'll prevent me from burning and getting all crinkly and crepey.
Great for after sun exposure. Our newest product launch being Youth Body Serum. It's my new favorite as well. I love it straight after the shower while the skin is still damp. And the best thing about it is with body products, we're so used to kind of fumbling around and reaching to those hard to reach areas, but having a spray treatment serum is really kind of one of a kind to be able to apply it with ease of application. It's my favorite thing about it.
What would you take, Matt?
You took my first 2. Cream cleanser, because exactly that tip that it can be used without water access, so you can still cleanse the skin. Extreme Protect 30, so I'm going to have that one-stop shop of antioxidants, hydration, sun protection. My third, I would switch up from yours. I think I would choose Shield, because maybe if I'm really stranded on a desert island and I happen to cut myself, this is going to be a nice wound healer, antimicrobial, antibacterial. I think this would be my third choice, but that's hard because that means I have to abandon Hydrocool. So I don't know if I could do that.
That's okay. We'll get abandoned on the island together, Matt, and we'll
We'll
swap.
share. We'll share. We'll plan
We'll
ahead.
share.
So I'll choose 3 different ones.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Well, Ms. Sharina, thank you so much for taking the time to do this live today. And thank you to all of our followers and our community. We're so grateful to have such an incredible community with Is Clinical, and for so many people tuning in all across the world. It's really amazing. And we're so grateful for all of you to take the time to join us today. Thank you very much, Ms. Sharina.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, Matt. And again, thank you to you and all of the team over there in the States and sunny California. It's been a pleasure working with you, and very similar to the skincare family. I always consider you all to be my professional family. Thank you.
Absolutely. And that's, I love that you said that, because it truly is a family at Is Clinical. And I feel very honored to be able to have been able to host you today with this live. So thank you very much.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you, Matt. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much, and happy Friday, TGIF.
TGIF.
Stay safe out there.
Bye, Matt.
Bye.